Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I want Kara to talk a little bit more tonight because she's got the warm, inviting day vibe.
Oh, I'm just really excited about this gold Christmas tree. You're going to see a lot of it. I love it. It's so nice. Who knew, you know?
I feel embarrassed. I'm apologizing for my wet hair. I lived in Spain for a turn and for a few years, and in Spain, if you left the house with wet hair, I mean, I'm still in my house, but still, if you went outside with wet hair, people would give you looks like you could never imagine. Like it was totally like sacrilegious. But I took advantage of my like 20 minutes of free time to pop on my Peloton. So that's what happened, and that's why I have wet hair. So sorry. So more Kara today. So because I want to be in your beautiful holiday scene.
Okay, so Connecticut's really nice to live in when you have a holiday season in November and December, because eventually, pretty soon, the snow's going to come, and everyone on my street actually has the holiday lights up. It's so nice. It's like wonderful. And people have just all kinds of cute decorations. The 12-foot Santa's going down the street. Just amazing stuff's happening. It's so cute. Um, so tonight we wanted to talk about antioxidants and fertility because it's often overlooked. And I think that it's shocking if you start to really look at the research on this and really think about like, hey, I'm trying to get pregnant. What should my meal plan be? And what supplements should I take? And one of the first things to look at is really like, where are the antioxidants in your diet? And you hear a lot about antioxidants these days because we're dealing with a bit of a viral issue. And people are wanting to take vitamin C a lot. And so that's probably the main antioxidant that people think about. But you might not know that vitamin C is amazing for fertility. So antioxidants are in fruits and vegetables mainly and brightly colored foods. So your black rice, your purple rice, that stuff has them too. And so we're here just talking about how getting these things in your diets and as supplements might be a good thing to add in for fertility. And it was one of the big factors. I was talking to Dr. Hiller about this earlier when we developed the Cultivate fertility diet, when we were really trying to go through all the research and all the traditional diets and everything we know about ovulation and implantation and sperm health. One of the things that kept coming up is these antioxidants that you can get from foods in a lot of cases. And so it was just a real push for us to find recipes and meals that really have delicious amounts of these foods. And that you wouldn't even notice it. So Hillary was saying something funny about one of our people going through the Prepare for Pregnancy protocol was saying, "Hey, it's so amazing because I have my husband doing this diet with me, and he has no idea what's going on, but his sperm quality is going to improve from this diet." So I love that idea. And
Idea.
that's a really cool thing, right? When you're just eating delicious food and it's good for your sperm, who knows?
Well, because in the research, it's really clear that sperm health is significantly impacted positively by high antioxidants
Yeah.
or low antioxidants can be implicated in sperm issues. So it's one of the things like we just posted a blog post something about like how to talk to your partner about sperm. And one of the things is sometimes men want to talk about it, sometimes they don't. Like everybody's got a different kind of thing happening in the
Mhm.
relationship, but it is really fun when women are working on the food and the diet and they know they're doing something really good for the sperm, but like it doesn't have to be every day. Like take your this for your sperm, they know that they're feeding them really well. So what about there's a couple I want to ask you a couple questions because these
Okay.
things that come up a lot in clinic.
Well,
Let's
can I first tell you about the sperm thing that I think is really cool to know? And it kind of like opened my eyes, this conference that I was at, and they were talking about this, is that the reason why sperm need more of these antioxidants like the vitamin C and the certain zinc and ubiquinol and all these things, beta carotene and these things that we talk about specifically, but this group of things that just does repair in cells is because where sperm are made, they have like no ability to repair themselves. So, if I go on a run, which you're going to laugh because that doesn't really happen. Okay. If I
I
go
would,
on a fast walk, my muscles might hurt a little bit. Anyway, I'm not a runner. Hillary's a runner. But if I do, a really strenuous, we'll say yoga class, because I do that. My muscles will hurt the next day. That's because the repair mechanisms in my muscles are just like shot. I just don't have enough going on. And so I get sore. But sperm, they have no repair. There's just no ability. So most of our cells and most of our organs, we have these natural systems to repair things because we get damaged all the time. Just making energy and running a body creates damage. And so I thought that was really interesting because it doesn't necessarily make sense, right? So why are sperm counts going down so much? And it's dramatic and sort of scary to look at the statistics compared to, I always think of my grandparents' age person versus now. The sperm quality and quantity is much less now than it was 50 years ago.
and they've studied that. That's a
It's,
fascinating thing.
we won't scare people with those statistics, but I think one of the reasons is just because people don't get that they really have to get these substances in, and maybe traditional diets had more of that we also have chemicals in the environment, et cetera. But it's really weird that the body would have developed sort of the total inability to repair the reproductive stuff. But where your sperm are made, there's no repair going on. So you really have to bump up the antioxidants in a big, big way.
And so is that why for men, if they're potentially like riding a bike has always been found a lot of time riding a bike, or changing the temperature if your men are in a hot tub, these are sort of like some of the myths, like does that affect sperm count or not? But it does, right? Because if there's
Heat damages the sperm because they can't repair from it. Like it's damaged and it's done and it's gone. It's like one and done. We're done here. Like there's nothing, they're not like going back in. Your body, it's so interesting that the body did not think that expending the energy on fixing sperm was the place to spend energy. And I think, if I had to guess, it's just that the body makes so much sperm that they were like, who cares?
yeah, like
Millions and millions,
it's not
so no
where
big deal.
it's not like the eggs where you're born with them, they're impacted by your mother's health, and potentially your grandmother's line have an impact on your eggs. It's like this long kind of lineage, where it's like sperm is constantly making and repairing. So the great news for guys with sperm counts that are kind of underwhelming is that it can be fixed. And the research shows that it's about 70 days where you can make a lot of impact on increasing sperm if you're making significant lifestyle choices, which include really amping up antioxidants. I think one of the things, a really common diet right now is like the keto diet. And I would say I have some patients who don't do keto in a way where they're eating a ton of vegetables. Like,
Ooh, can I tell you about this?
yeah,
Salami. I had the salami and like cheese guy, like no vegetables. And he thought that all the and I love him because he's this Italian guy and he was like going to the Italian deli in Hartford and getting all these delicious meats that he's like, I cannot believe I get to eat all this. And that was how he was doing the keto diet. And it really kind of worried me. It was a new patient to me. So we ran the labs and his cholesterol and all his inflammatory markers were so bad. And they say that after you're on keto for a while, that might correct. But anyway, the way that some people interpret it, it just seems obvious to me that all the mortadella and all those very, I'm sure, delicious meats are probably not good for you to be the basis of your diet, but that's what some people on keto do. So it was scary what the sperm count. It was just the count. It wasn't morphology or whatever was there. So I think that I saw that directly.
Yeah, and there's plenty of people who do it great, and it's a good weight loss diet for some. But what we're really looking for in a fertility diet, like the Cultivate fertility diet program, like what is the best diet for women and men? It is a plate full of color and full of colorful vegetables, and some of those are carbohydrate rich. So like carrots, sweet potato, pumpkin, squashes. So some of those are excluded from keto diets, and we want those in there because they've got a ton of vitamin A, a ton of vitamin C. Those things are really, really great to have, to help repair and to keep free radical damage. So free radicals are something where it's basically like oxidative stress is the nature of, like Kara said, by running the machine. It's like the gunk that comes out of a car just kind of by naturally running a car. There's like exhaust that's like happening in our body. It's like oxidative stress, free radicals. It causes this damage, and antioxidants come along and kind of help repair and move things through. So you want to have this stuff really around, not to mention the antiviral effects and other effects of vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin E. They all work together as antioxidants. So it's just really important to us that people have people are just rich in antioxidants because it's one of those easy things that you can impact. It's
Right.
like, what can I do? I can eat a ton of colorful berries. Eating the rainbow matters. You're eating a lot of different flavonoids. You're getting a lot of different colored nutrients and bioflavonoids that also have an impact. And vitamin C rich foods really matter. So, like, it, fun fact, like a red pepper has a huge amount of vitamin C. Broccoli has a huge amount of vitamin C, not just in orange, or not. Strawberries are really high in vitamin C, organic always, because
Mhm.
they're so heavily sprayed. But so these are the things that we kind of go through. So we have some smoothies on our website that we love, or I guess on YouTube. If you do Cultivate Fertility smoothies on YouTube, you'll see us making some great smoothies. And the recipes are on the blog and the website, cultivatefertility.com. Go to the blog. There's some great recipes for smoothies because we're trying to always figure out how you can have antioxidants. Also, like a lot of greens, a lot of the dark leafy greens are really rich with vitamin C. And especially like the broccoli family.
Mhm. In a fertility diet, you do all the data that looks at this looks a lot at the Mediterranean diet, and that's higher in antioxidants and flavonoids than a general American diet. So that's part of the trick there. And I think the keto diet, don't you think the keto diet just helps people break the simple carbohydrate and sugar addiction? So it's kind of a nice diet for a small period of time, but it's not really great for trying to get pregnant. As far as for women, these antioxidants and things that you do need from, your berries and your fruits and vegetables, you need those for ovulation, for implantation. It could potentially even help you with sort of miscarriage prevention and other things. So you do maybe need some of these other foods that are complex carbohydrates and not, like I mentioned, black rice and in the beginning. And those things might not be in a keto diet, but they might be really good for fertility. So it's an interesting thing to think about, what would the ultimate fertility diet be? And you and I have gone back and forth on this for a few years now. And I think one of the real pillars is making sure that you are getting fruits and vegetables that are dense in these antioxidants. And some are better than others, So I could eat grapes all day long and it would be actually not very good for my ovaries because of the sugar content in there. But I might do very well taking a resveratrol supplement or a vitamin C supplement. So it's there's specific things to consider, but I think it's so important to just constantly be giving your body these things. Because if you think about it, when we take supplements, we'll take them in the morning and we'll take them at night. but we don't do it like throughout the day, right? And so we want a constant dose throughout the day. So that means we have to really think about this in our foods in addition to our supplements.
And dark berries are a great way.
And the smoothies, that's the thing to do, right?
And it's winter, so I love sweet potatoes. And I had this amazing salad with delicata squash.
Mm,
It's like 5:18 on the West Coast, so let's talk about dinner because I'm hungry. But
okay.
it was with persimmon, and persimmon with that bright orange, gorgeous color has beta carotene and vitamin C. And then it had the watermelon radish. Can you
Delicious.
with the watermelon? It's so beautiful. And then it had tons of dark leafy greens, some broccoli sprouts, and like chicken, herbed chicken. So it was like so yummy. And then toasted pepitos, like you like to say, where they puff up, and there was cumin and unbelievable. But like that, I love some of these winter foods when they come out and they're really high in vitamin A and they're really high in vitamin C, because we need more of those foods in the winter for antiviral protection and antioxidant protection. It's just interesting that like so many of the fall winter foods are so high in vitamin C. And
Right. So fall, winter's more like stews and sautés kind of, and less about salads and raw smoothies. So Chinese medicine would definitely say that this cold smoothies are sort of out at this time of year, but the warm broths are in, right?
right. So make yourself bone broth. We've got like a great bone broth recipe and no bone broth recipe at cultivatefertility.com under the blogs, blah, blah. That's where you find our recipes. And there's me making bone broth on YouTube, and maybe even no bone broth on YouTube. Anyway, broths are a great way to just like add a handful, when you make a broth, you're using a lot of vegetables. It pulls a lot of minerals out of it. And then when you make a soup and you add onion and celery and whatever you want to add, but some of the winter vegetables like a butternut squash soup or something like that is an incredible antioxidant rich soup. We also have a great recipe. You can tell we're really into food. We really want you to get these antioxidants through your food. And we also like it in supplements too, but the diet's kind of the place to go. So
I was going to say that. So if people ask, can I get it all from my diet, which we get that question a lot. Like, what do you think? Can I get all the antioxidants I need from my diet?
I'm going to say no. I mean,
Definitely, it's a no.
in COVID right now. And so I've got patients taking huge amounts of vitamin C, especially if they do get sick. And it's fascinating to watch how much vitamin C people can actually tolerate. And because if you take in too much vitamin C, the side effect is to have a loose stool or a loose bowel. Patients who are sick, with any kind of viral infection, I've got people taking 8,000 or what high doses of vitamin C with no ill effect, meaning that their body is needing, absorbing that level of antioxidant. And I really believe that when you're going in through a fertility journey, if you can kind of find that right level of the amount of antioxidants in flooding your reproductive organs, it's really, really helpful. There's a high need. The other tissue that has a very high antioxidant need is our adrenal tissue. And our adrenal tissues, we talk about it a lot. That's what the cute little organs that live on top of the kidneys. They're glands, exocrine glands, and they secrete all of our stress hormones: epinephrine, norepinephrine, cortisol, DHEA. And when we've been under long-term chronic stress and even some trauma, like right now, people feel pretty traumatized. It takes those glands use a lot of our vitamin C.
Mhm.
So feeding our bodies during stressful periods, antioxidants are helpful for not only the reproductive organs, but for the adrenal glands, and really helping tissue kind of stay healthy, that where there's high demand on it. Does that make sense?
Ovaries too. Ovaries have a big concentration of vitamin C, which was another thing that was really interesting to learn about.
I,
But I think for fertility, the vitamin C dose is usually like 1 or 2 capsules a day. It depends on what you're taking. So it's not massive, but I I spent many years thinking that people should get vitamin C from their foods because you usually can only absorb so much at once, right? And I've totally reversed this in the last few years. There are quite a lot of people out there that really need the extra vitamin C. And so that's been interesting as a total reversal of course, because I was always just trying to say, well, if you could add like the pepper to your lunch, you're going to get this many milligrams. That's going to help. But I don't think that's true, actually. I think you probably do need to take a vitamin C in particular. A lot of people have genetic issues, I think, that they need more.
so you came to that conclusion by research or by looking at patients?
Well, both. I think that I generally came into this profession hoping that we could just sort of fix how people eat and look more and more at diet and constantly be tweaking things, and we would all be getting the things we need from foods. But especially working with fertility, we find that we're just under such assault constantly by chemicals and exposures in our environments, and our ovaries and our testicles, where the sperm is made. These things are sensitive,
Just
so what's that?
didn't have testicles.
Not you.
No,
Well, anyway,
just
I
kidding.
just think that that's the problem. It's like you're just constantly having to repair and constantly having to pull on these reserves. And I don't think diet's going to do it for a fertility challenge, just like a viral infection challenge too. Like you just probably can't do it all with diet, get enough of these antioxidants you need if you have a viral infection.
No, when there's
You know,
increased
sort of
demand, that's the fascinating thing. Like when there's an increased demand, if it
right.
can see how the body sucks these things in, and arguably stress is a major increased demand. So by nature, any woman on a fertility journey most certainly needs to be thinking about her stress hormones, antioxidants, and kind of replenishing these things because it directly impacts ovary. I love that naturally ovaries have a high concentration of vitamin C. It's so cool
Mhm,
because we do need the repair system. Like,
mhm,
whereas we started talking about the sperm not having the repair system as much, we do need it because we only have the eggs we're born with. And
mhm.
we always have to be in repair to keep that genetic material safe and sound as the egg comes down, right? That we can make the best reproductive egg possible. And so it's so fascinating that ovaries are just naturally rich in vitamin C.
I know it's amazing. It's just the body's made for this. And I wonder, I do think that it's the adrenal glands that deal with stress a lot, and the ovaries that in a woman you'll find the biggest concentration of vitamin C in those tissues. And vitamin C, like I said, we hear about it in different foods like oranges, or just sort of famous for vitamin C, right? Um, but I don't know that we're getting enough from food. This is the biggest issue with the vitamin C that I'm running into these days. I think it's there's a lot that we need to think about with not just how much is in the food we're taking in, but are we absorbing it all? What's going on in my life? Did I sleep well last night? Did I have a stressful day at work? And sort of changing around what we're taking every day and how we're organizing our meals. It's a big task, but an important thing for anybody trying to get pregnant to just think about, hey, what did I do today to support my antioxidant status, and sort of thinking about it like tomorrow I'm going to do a better meal and remember to take my vitamins. That's just it.
The days where I don't put a ton of effort into my diet or where I'm really busy, I don't really think about it that much. The thing that suffers are the antioxidants, right? Like it's easier to grab cheese and crackers or
Mhm.
a quick this on the go or a
Or
quick.
like a sandwich. So many people grab a sandwich for lunch, and you have a lot of bread and not a ton of like the plant materials in there.
So there's this book I want to show everybody, and then I'm going to go because I need to make dinner with all this food talk.
Okay, good.
This is this beautiful book I just got, and I'm going to reach out to the author because I want to speak to her. But it's called Plant Power Bowls.
Mm,
Look
that's
at how beautiful. I mean, amazing food, and a lot of it, it looks great, but it follows a lot of the Cultivate fertility diet. So we have a diet course where we really kind of educate about what to eat and when to eat and try to make it fun and try to make it figure out how to balance plates for women and men. And that's where we get a lot of the feedback that people are like, I'm cooking, I'm doing all these fertility soup bowls and superfoods, adding all the different fertility superfoods, and we've got a ton of great recipes, and having a lot of fun, like sneaking it in with my partner because it tastes delicious.
it
So
can be fun.
yeah, so eat good food, take good supplements, have a healthy baby, and have a lot of sex. Let's say that. Okay. On that note, she's
Making babies, everybody.
some babies. We gotta have some fun. All right, you guys. Enough boring antioxidant talk for now. You got the memo. Now go make a baby. Okay. Mwah.
Bye.